Hi, so I actually tried to record this video, but I don't know, I wasn't so satisfied with it. So anyway, I will try and do it again. Uh, so I wanted to share some of the things that sort of might happen on an open day. Not like the things, the exercises and stuff that you will be doing if you're going for open day for cabin crew, but just these small things that some people apparently is not doing, but you should probably consider them when you're going. So I went on one of these open days for a big airline. I didn't pass. I got to the final and then I was eliminated. So, but some of the things obviously that you notice when you're going there on these type of days is that there are certain things that you might want to pick up and do, and consider, So first and foremost, let's talk about the hair, So now I am wearing like a scarf, but when you're going on an open day for cabin crew, you shouldn't have your hair hanging loose, like just being in the face and just hanging, or like a big waves or something, because it doesn't look professional, If you're considering serving food and if you are a waitress, do you want your food, like the hair, to hang down in the food? People would think it's disgusting, So you should consider that and ensuring, that your hair is away from the face, neat and tidy, put up in something if you have long hair. And by the way, I have some papers here because it's just for my studies. So that is one thing to consider, Another thing, the nails, I saw there were people, who did not have any nail polish. Some people had, even like short and long nails and like mixture of sizes. That is not nice, And I think the recruiter will look at those type of things, And it's an easy thing to fix, It's very easy to make your nails look nice and clean and maintained. So that is something you can do, You can fix your nails, because imagine if you cannot fix your nails, and would they really think you can evacuate the aircraft within 90 seconds? I'm just comparing it, like I think you have to show that you can handle yourself before you're doing something like that. Another thing is that depending on the venue and the day and how the weather is, it might will be super hot. I actually had a situation where there was no AC in the venue, where we were having this open day. So I actually had to sweat a lot throughout this whole day, and everyone had to, But you want to ensure that when you're having your makeup on, that you try and maintain your makeup throughout the day, even if it's like super hot inside of the venue, because it is important, And also keep some mirror or something, like a small pocket mirror inside of your own bag, because there was so many girls throughout this whole day that were asking for, is someone having a mirror, because everyone wanted to ensure that their lipstick was staying on, and it is a really good way of showing your way of being helpful if you can lend out a mirror to the people, Another thing is that maybe someone will ask for a pen. That might be demanded in some of the exercises. It is good to have a pen in your bag that you can lend out, And also water. There was some people asking for water from the other people who were there, and that's also like an extra type of thing. I think that if someone asking for water, you maybe have water that you can sort of give out. And also, like when you're walking through doors, ensure that you're not like the first one getting out, or like just pushing yourself through the doors. Make sure you are like going through the doors, but maybe allow other people to pass before, and also be like polite, you know, say thanks, and all these things, you know, so you actually, especially when you're communicating with the recruiter, and also there might be some times throughout the day where you can ask questions directly to the recruiter. So try and ask questions that are not like focused on the salary and rest in the job, or vacation, or anything that is sort of the, you know, not part of the job itself. Try and be more like mindful about what you're asking. And also, like, there might be some situations that happening throughout the day. So for example, there was a problem with the door into the room where we were having some of the exercises, and one of the girls, she was like very fast on just walking up and helping the recruiter to solve the door. And that is a good way of showing that you can take initiative and you can be helpful, and you know, you can find solutions in different situations. And also, when you're having the breaks, because you might have breaks throughout the day, ensure you are not sitting on your phone, or that you going out and you are not in the actual location where you're having this whole mingling and where people are having the break. But you need to mingle with the people and talk with everyone, you know, and try and include everyone. And just, if there are people from different locations, you might prefer to use English so everyone understand what you're saying. And just, you know, don't put yourself in the center. Instead, just asking questions, talk about the venue, avoid talking about the recruiter, you know, saying stuff about her, or saying negative stuff about the company, or saying negative stuff about other people there, or negative stuff about the hotel or the venue, or whatever, you know. Like those things, because there were people actually, when they noticed that the recruiter came into the venue where everyone was gathered, they asked questions like, so what do you think about this company? Don't you think that this or that, you know? And that was, I'm assuming, a way of sort of trying to make people say something bad when there was the recruiter listening, you know, because that would make them fail eventually. So you have to be very mindful, and obviously I feel like, you know, it is quite simple to be mindful. Just, you know, take responsibility. And what else? Yeah, so there will also probably be some, as I was sort of addressing, some way, like people who feel they have competition among some other people who are there, they might will try and make that person fail, because at the end of the day you are competing for a small number of available job vacancies or whatever. So you want to ensure you are not falling into any of those traps, you know. So one thing that you can consider is that if you're noticing these things, just be mindful, try and maintain positive attitude and address and handle it, you know, with grace, and just, you know, stick to smiling, you know. But yeah, and also like the smiling, you know, ensure you have whitening your teeth, you know, like you don't want to have yellow or some other color. Also, I think it's not permitted to have something going on with your teeth. You should have, you know, just your teeth inside of your mouth, basically. So yeah, so that's like something also to consider. And if you have a problem following the guidelines, you know, for the business attire look, or whatever guidelines the specific company might have when it concerning the standards of the uniform, or like, you know, the clothing and stuff, it is kind of probably not going to help you on this day, you know. I think the recruiter actually sort of also looking at how people are dressing, you know, because all of the girls and guys actually it was only girls on this day who was not wearing the actual business attire. Those girls, they didn't pass. And also there was one girl, she had a nose piercing, she was wearing jeans, and she was wearing her hair loose and no makeup. And the recruiter said to her, "Good try, I like your try, you know." And then she was eliminated. So consider those things. And if you're a smoker, try and not smoke during this day, you know. Or be mindful where you are smoking, because you don't want to give the sort of appearance that you are a smoker that's smoking a lot, because if you're considering the work itself, you're not going to be permitted to be smoking on board of an aircraft. So mostly, you know, like, so yeah, so you don't want to be that person who is smoking every single break, you know. And another thing I would say is that be a little bit, you know, like laid back, or like not laid back in like, you know, having your manners just like relaxed. Consider that when you're going to this, as soon as you're entering into the building or to the venue, you are there as if you were in this profession, you know. So you're behaving and you're taking the manners according to sort of what you consider would be part of the profession, you know. But what I mean with laid back, I mean like when you are in these, you know, mingling sessions and stuff, ensure that you are not positioning yourself in the center of the attention. I mean, like now it might also depend on how many people are showing up on these events, but I would say that you don't want to be like the one who speaks the loudest or talking about yourself, or just, you know, too much, you know, because that's not going to probably give a good impression as well in this type of job, you know. So that is also one thing. And I mean, you're probably going to meet quite amazing people. So if you find that there are some people, I would say that you can probably not like, you know, be like, okay, you know, trusting one person there and be like, okay, should we try and like, you know, get through the stage next following, and you know, if I jump in here and you might be doing something like this, because in some of these group exercises you are obviously, you will be communicating, you will be doing, you know, you will have a lot of time to actually be presenting and communicating and stuff. And some people I noticed who were sort of, they probably was very aware of all of the steps, so they were like getting together, and when there was some of these exercises they would sort of try and bring the other one into the discussion and sort of, you know, doing that type of stuff. So I mean, they would just help each other in the exercises, you know. And that is something to consider and be mindful about, because I would say that it's probably better at the end of the day if you have made, you know, that you sort of have relied on your own ability to get through the stages than trying to get help like from the other ones that you are competing with, you know. But at the same time, you must also be smart in the whole scenarios and stuff that you will go through, because there will be so many things that people might try and do in order for you to fail, because this is a competition at the end of the day. So that is something. And also ensure you are having a nice scent, you know, because it might be hot inside there, so bring some perfume with you, but don't put too much perfume. You don't want to be that person who's like having too much perfume, but just a little, you know. Ensure your shoes are clean throughout the entire day. And if you have some other types of areas around the venue itself, pay attention that when you are in any of the other areas of that place for the entire day that you are there, you have to be in the role itself, you know, in the professional role. So you will be dealing with everyone else that you may be meeting throughout the day that are not part of the venue. Because, for example, there were a lot of cleaning going on. So you have to deal with everyone who is cleaning on the venue in a professional manner, you know, because you have to think that in this role you would be representing the company, you know, you would be representing the brand. So therefore, if the recruiter is like paying attention to what's going on with all people there who are trying to apply for this, you need to think that you are observed constantly with everything you do. So that is very important. And to keep smiling throughout the entire day, you know, like to be positive and just very pleasant personality, you know, that's very important because, yeah, for the entire day as you're there, try and be like, you know, like very like pleasant and just nice and these things, you know. And what else? And to have a watch, you know, that's also a really good tip, you know, because, and don't make the mistake to not have a watch that is not working, because there was one girl who had a watch and the recruiter asked her, what time is it, you know, and she was like, I don't know. And the recruiter said, well, you're having a watch, so what's time, what is the time? And she was like, it's not working. And you know, and she didn't pass, you know. I'm assuming it was not only due to the watch, but I mean, if you're actually having a watch, obviously it should be working, you know. So that is also something to consider. And another thing is with food, because in the breaks it will be a long day, you know, hopefully. So you will have the time to eat in between the breaks, but you don't want to be eating like too much, you know, or like shuffling in food when you are in that sort of setting. So be mindful, have some small snacks, drink water, use a straw, you know, use some paper straw, whatever, so you don't mess up your lipstick if you're wearing a lipstick, you know. And yeah, so those are important things, you know. And whenever you are obviously directly observed by the recruiter, you have to think about your manners 1000%, you know, because he or she or whatever, they will keep the eyes on you for the full day, and you need to consider that, you know. So that's very important. And obviously you should probably wear a heel, you know, 4 centimeter, I think was the lowest, you know. So that's something else to consider. And if you're wearing a skirt, ensure you're wearing it knee length at least, or like 1 inch below the knee, and that you're wearing clothes that are sort of modest, sophisticated and covering, you know, because when you're working, you are in your professional role. It is not, I mean, unless you're like a model who is going to be, you know, like sort of, you know, a model is getting paid to maybe have her hair hanging and stuff, you know. But I mean, if you're in a professional role where you are like in a business environment, or you are in you serving food or something, you know, in a more like sophisticated environment, I mean, you have to wear clothes, you know, you have to be covering. And that's like, because there was some people obviously who showed up and they were wearing too short skirt, or was not wearing like a full-length shirt, you know, or something, and they didn't pass either. So ensure you have those things fixed, and I wish you the best of luck.